Okay.
Hi people. Yeah, I know you find it's very difficult to realise, but they finally dragged me kicking and screaming into the 21st century. I have now got a blog. Is that right? Blog?
Yep.
Blog. Yeah, I've got a blog. Whatever that means, I've got one. Apparently you can get ointment for it and it goes after about 3 or 4 days. So I'm told. But anyway, anybody who doesn't know me, but then again, if you don't know me, why would you be looking at this anyway? Come to that, why would you look at this even if you do know me? But anybody who doesn't know me, my name's Mick Collins, in the Algarve in Portugal. And if I seem to be staring at you, that's because I can't see you because I'm blind. That happened 9 months ago. But don't let it get to you. It gets to me sometimes, but we get over that. That's no problem. Right, now what am I going to talk about? Well, I suppose, start at the beginning. Very young when I was born. Comes as a surprise to most people. Then again, I'm only 42 now, pushing 74. Yeah, so we go down that road. Yeah, when I was born, 1942. To give you an idea of what was going on then, the Battle of Stalingrad was going on. Singapore had just been lost to the Japanese. El Alamein, first battle, had just taken place. Yeah, it was quite an eventful year when I was born. I don't think it was my fault. I think it just happened to be when I came into the world. Yeah, I was one of two brothers, actually one of three brothers. Because before I was born, 2 years before I was born, my elder sibling died. It's a boy called Jeffrey, and he was 5 years old. And he died, as I say, when he was 5. And that was 2 years before I was born. After I was born, my father died a year after I was born, and 6 months after that my brother was born, so it was still in the middle of the war. And how my mother got through that, I don't know. She'd lost one young son, then lost her husband, and had 2 sons in the middle of the Second World War. Fortunately, I think there was a lot of family around. She had 3 sisters and 1 brother, and 1 sister lived next door. So I assume, because I know nothing about it, I was far too young, I assume that at the time they all rallied and helped each other. Of course, in those days, you didn't have counselling. You didn't have anybody running around saying, oh, you've got to counsel for this and counsel for that. People just got on with it. And here we go, first whinge. Why don't people just get on with it nowadays? Why do we all have to have counselling every time something goes wrong? I mean, my eyes have gone. Fortunately, I've got family and friends around me that have helped me through it. But I don't think I was actually counselled. You just need people around to help you through the situation, that's all. That's what's going on with Britain nowadays, isn't it, I think? There's nobody seems to want to know, I say nobody, a lot of people don't seem to want to know to help other people. People don't seem to know their next door neighbours. Is there an old person up the road who needs their hedge trimming and grass cutting? Do they need somebody to just go in and talk to them 3 or 4 times a day? It can be a long day, believe me. It's been a real eye-opener for me going blind. You suddenly realise that you're dependent on other people. And if other people don't rally and help, you're stuck. Literally stuck. I mean, fortunately, as I say, I've got family and friends and they carry me through. But what it must be like for somebody who's alone, a man or woman whose husband or wife has died and they're an older person living in a house on their own, I don't know. So there's a message to anybody watching this that have got a person living near them who they know live in there but they've never seen. Just go and stick a note through their door. Just rattle on the door and say, look, if you need any help, we're here to give you a hand. It makes a huge difference, huge difference. Yeah. Anyway, whinge number 1 over, okay? Go back to my childhood. Yes. Yeah, we grew up in a town called Eastleigh, railway town, between Winchester and Southampton. It was gayness, I say, it was during the war. At the bottom of our garden, we had the Anderson bomb shelters. We had one, and my aunt next door had one. I can't ever remember going in them. I must have done sometime or other. Because near to us was the Eastleigh Airport, now called Southampton Airport. But Eastleigh Airport was the place where the very first prototype Spitfire took off of. See, all this history lesson. I should charge for this, shouldn't I? I shouldn't be doing this for free. I should charge for it. Anyway, the first prototype Spitfire flew out of there. And during the war, my wife, who unfortunately died last year, her mother made gliders. And I assume the gliders were probably for the D-Day landings. And possibly even for later on the Arnhem landings, because they used a lot of gliders there. Anyway, that's what she used to do. And when we were children, we used to go out to these ponds in the middle of the field and get frog spawn. But nobody ever told us they weren't ponds, they were bomb craters, where the Germans had tried to come in, I assume, Southampton just down the road, the airport just a mile down the road. I assumed that they were aiming for that, and obviously missed. But it was great for our frog spawning, brilliant. Couldn't go wrong with that, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so that was about it in my childhood, yes. Couldn't moan or groan about anything, really. I had a good childhood. I'll only take you up to about when I was 7, because there's another story after that. But also near us is a place called the Barge, between Eastleigh and Bishopstoke, village called Bishopstoke, big village now, almost a town. Yeah, and there's a place called the Barge. And nobody ever told us, that the Barge is where they used to bring the barges up the River Itchen, because we were in the Itchen Valley. And they used to bring the barges up through there. And we, as children, we used to play down at all these different places, and nobody ever told us what was going on and what the history of the place was. Now, either my parents or my parent didn't know. I assume she didn't know. But nobody ever seemed to be in it. Mind, there's a Second World War going on, other things on their minds, I expect. But nobody ever told us what was what. And it's only, I suppose I must have been in my 20s, maybe even 30s, before I actually realised that all these lock gates were for bringing the barges up from Southampton Water and taking the barges right up through to Winchester. And probably went on further than that, I don't know. I've never researched it. There's a job for somebody if you're looking for something to do. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's just about enough out of me. You probably all gone to sleep now, nodding off. So I'll sign off now. My blog name, is it blog name? Yeah. Is Mick Collins, Does It Eat Sugar? And the reason it's Does It Eat Sugar, and here are wins number 2. Since I lost my sight, I realised that once you get something that's different with you, like me, sight, or anybody in a wheelchair, to a lot of people you cease to exist. People are either too embarrassed, I don't know, it's crazy. I had people walk by me, rather than say hello, bon dia, good morning, whatever, they don't do anything, they just walk by. It's another thing, if ever you see anybody with any type of, I don't like the word disability, with any type of difference with them, smile at them, say hello. It makes a fantastic difference. There's nothing worse than standing on a corner and hearing people going by you, and you hear them talking as they come down, they go quiet when they go by, and they start talking when they get to the other side, almost as if you don't exist. So there you are, lesson number 2. Talk to people who've got things about them that are different, and if you've got neighbours that you don't see, but you know they're there, and you know they're on their own, go and get in touch with them. It makes a huge difference. Okay, now there's something else apparently you've got to do with this. You've got to press something and...
Subscribe button.
Press the subscribe button.
And hit the alert.
And hit the alert. Do you see there's an echo in here? Yeah. Press the subscribe button and hit the alert. And apparently, after this load of drivel that I've come out with, you might want to see the second thing that I do. We'll see where this goes. I've absolutely no idea. Okay? Anyway, you all have a good day. Right? Bye then. Bye.